If I had my way, everything would be so nice. This world would be like Paris. No, it would be a paradise. No one would ever have to say, I'm gonna get my wish someday. All one would have to do is say, this is my order, if you may.
Welcome to another episode of The School Without Old Walls. I'm Antonio Hobbs, host and founder of this educational program. My guest today is Miss Hillary Jones, a senior here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. She is representing the ROTC. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here, sir.
Okay, what we will do is, I'm going to ask you a little bit about your origin, and then we'll talk about the ROTC. Where are you from?
I'm from here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
You are?
Yes,
What school you graduated from?
I graduated from Watson Chapel High School.
Watson Chapel. You went to, all of your schooling was in Watson Chapel community?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Were you have any siblings? Brothers and sisters?
I'm the youngest. I have two older siblings.
Okay. How much older are they than you?
12 and about 12
quite
and
a bit
10 years older than me.
So you're the
really
spoiled
young.
one. Huh? Yeah, you're the spoiled baby. Okay. Well, look, tell us about ROTC. Is that an acronym for, what does ROTC stand for?
ROTC stands for the Army Reserve Officer Training Corps. Our motto is training to lead and leadership excellence for the nation. Our goal is to train students who are in the program, who are now cadets, and to be great leaders for our nation. When they graduate, after they commission, they'll be second lieutenants first coming in. They'll be over a platoon full of a platoon of people in our nation, and they'll be having to lead them right after they graduate. So we prepare them for everything that they'll need to know.
I see. Now, again, ROTC, the R doesn't have anything, I didn't hear you say anything.
I would say Army Reserve Officer Training Corps. It's Reserve Officer Training Corps.
ROTC, that's the Army, what else? Officer Training.
Reserve Officer Training Corps.
That R is reserve, isn't it? I knew something was a little bit off on it. Reserves Officer Training Corps, okay. And you said once you successfully fulfill your curriculum here, you would start off as a second lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
Is there a first lieutenant? Is there any position called first lieutenant?
Yes, you start out as a second lieutenant, and then as you do all your requirements, you rank up, then it's first lieutenant, captain.
Looks like they should start off first lieutenant and second, but the second
is lower
than the first.
Yes, sir.
I think y'all have that a little bit twisted. No, I'm just teasing. Okay, then you have a captain, right?
Yes, sir.
And then what is the next order of officer?
You then have a major, then lieutenant colonel, colonel, then general of the Army.
Okay. Aren't there several ranks of generals?
Yes, you have brigade general, lieutenant general, and so on and so forth.
Okay. All right, very good. Now you mentioned that once you graduate as a second lieutenant, he has leadership and he's able to lead a platoon. What in the world is that he's leading?
Platoon is basically squads within a company. You'll be over these soldiers. You'll get to know who they are, who their families are. You're in charge of what they do and what they fail to do. So you're in charge of their training, what they do in their day-to-day lives, and how they accomplish the overall mission.
Now, does a platoon, am I saying right, platoon or platoon?
Platoon.
Platoon. Does a platoon have a certain number of persons?
It all depends. Some platoons are bigger than others, so I can't give you a specified number. It can be from 45 to 50, it can be 60 or 70.
I see. And you're in the Army, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you have, as a student, do you have a classification like a sergeant or something like that?
Right now, I am a cadet captain.
Cadet captain.
My position is the Battalion S6. I'm the recruiting and fundraising officer. But we have rankings from the battalion commander, which is the highest position, and then you have, as you come in as a freshman, you'll just be a private. So you'll be learning all all of the ranking and all the structure as you go on throughout the program.
I see. Are you compensated financially once you get in this program?
Once you contract and meet your eligibility requirements, you'll be paid a full ride scholarship, and they can give you a scholarship when you come in as a freshman if you have a 19 on the, if you have a
as high as a 19
on the ACT, and you have a high of a 2.5 GPA or higher, then you'll come in with a full ride scholarship. If you don't, then you'll be awarded after you pass the PT test, and then you'll be paid stipend every month, and they pay for room and board as well. So in other words, once you get all those benefits, you won't be out of any cash, will you, to acquire the education? No, sir,
Enough
not
money
at all.
to take care of all of it. Excellent. We have 2 more minutes before the break time. I want to ask you a few quick questions. There's always been a little controversy about roles that women play in the Army. I wonder, how do you feel as far as women being on the battlefield in combat? Do you feel that women should have the same right to go out and get themselves blown apart like men? You feel good about that?
I absolutely do, because I've been in training in situations where I've seen my battle buddy who was a female doing way better than the person who was a male. They'll fight just as strong as their counterpart. It's not necessarily about who is supposedly
about gender.
It's all about who's going to protect me on the battlefield, who's going to do their job, who's my battle buddy protect me on my left sector and my right sector. We're all here together, so I believe that anyone could be qualified to fight on the battle line.
So you're thinking more or less of the qualification rather than of the problems that might arise, right? For example, I understand quite a few women are being abused and misused on the battlefield, whereas men are not being raped by women. You hear about that. A lot of women are raped and abused. You don't factor that in at all. Your right to be there and being abused might be considered. It's not the matter of whether you can shoot.
They have different programs now. It's called SHARP, which is basically you can protect yourself in the Army. It's anyone can protect themselves if at any given time, or take those steps to protect yourselves, or to if you have.
You don't mean physical protection. You mean
physically and legal protection.
Give me an example of how a woman might physically protect herself better than she did a few years back. We're talking about now on the battlefield, out in the combat area. How does she protect herself better now than she did a few years ago?
There's always the battle buddy system, making sure you always have the precautions that somebody's with you at all times, and having someone you can talk to about any situation. And then when it comes to legally, let someone know what is going on, what happened.
We're going to stop on that,
okay,
and we'll be right back for the second segment of this, and we'll talk a little bit more about the females in the military, especially with complete equality to those of men. Is that better for our society? Is that better? Oh, well, we're on break now. We'll get back in a few minutes.
No permita que la salmonela baile en su pollo. Este año aproximadamente 1 de cada 6 norteamericanos se enfermará por causa de alimentos contaminados, así que aprenda las temperaturas correctas para cocinar cada tipo de carne. Aprenda cómo mantener a su familia sana en foodsafety.gov.
Welcome to another episode of The School Without Walls. I am the host and founder of this program, Antonio Hobbs. My guest today is Hillary Jones. On the other side of the break, we were discussing the problems that women have in the military in contrast to that of men. And there, of course, Hillary, as you know, there are some people that feel that women should not be permitted to do everything that males do because of the danger for the woman. What about the idea of a woman having a child? I understand they also get pregnant out there too, don't they? Whereas the men don't get pregnant. And of course, we have situations where women leave their children in the care of the dad and they go to war. Are those negative things with that family, or is that maybe positive? Which one do you think?
In my opinion, I feel like we're in a different time of age where things are like that are happening, and it's not just in the Army-related field. You have women who are even making more money. than their counterparts are. But I feel that once you discuss that between your family, that's something that you want to do, this is something that you want to pursue, that if you leaving your children behind in the care of their father, that it shouldn't be a problem.
I see. In other words, you don't feel that a woman has more nurturing skills than a man. You feel that because it's done today, it's not affecting the child in any way in a neo fashion, because you feel that a man can nurture and see after a child just as well as a woman. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
You feel that way, I see. Okay. All right. Let us talk a little bit. Anything else you want to say about the ROTC, and then we will go to another subject. Anything else you want to say to the public about the ROTC?
I would just want to let everyone know that if anybody had any more questions, that they should reach Jelena Williams. She's our recruiting officer as well at the battalion, and she will tell anybody who needs to know anything, whether it's getting a new scholarship or next training events, or how can they join the program.
You have a phone number, you could slowly give that. Don't do like students when they leave a message. My phone number, call me at 666-585-555. I don't know what they're saying.
And the number to call is at 870-575-8446.
I believe they could get that. Okay, and what is the lady's name?
Jelena Williams.
Janita? Jelena Williams, okay. All right, I want to talk to you and the public a little bit about what this School Without Walls is all about. The goals of the School Without Walls is primarily set up to help the African American family, okay? Are you aware that the African American family is in serious problems when it comes to even survival as a race of people? Are you conscious?
I'm conscious.
You have a lot of problems, and we need to do something about it. So I have here training, proper training. Then after training, we have education and, of course, economics. It is devastating to be in need of the basics and can't purchase.
Right.
And see, that is happening to too many of us. I want to ask you a question. Why do you think we have, what are some of the reasons? There are several reasons. We have more poor African Americans than any other ethnic group on earth. Why do you think that?
I say it's a lack of knowledge.
A lack of knowledge of people perish, won't they?
Yes, sir. I feel that if more people knew about more things that was offered to them, that they'll take advantage of them. If they had more connections to more people that could put them in better positions to do what they really want to do in life.
That's excellent, because I call it networking, right?
Right.
You have to be a part of the net, and you can't be a part of the net unless you get in a certain environment, right?
Yes, sir.
So upward mobility, would you agree that most people believe that education for a poor person is the best way out of poverty? Being properly educated and trained to make a decent living. And you can't do that if you don't stay in school. Why is it that you think so many, especially our young males, drop out of school before they finish high school? We have a heavy dropout rate. What causes that? What are some of the things?
I feel like maybe it's a lack of motivation. They don't have people coming to them every day to push them to do what they need to do. I remember my father would push my brother just to go to school every day because he wouldn't want to do it himself. He didn't have the motivation himself to do it, but having someone, your parents, to just push you to do the things that you need to do. I feel like if somebody doesn't have
So the family, you're saying a good family is the key. Randy, is this the last segment? I've gotten lost. Yeah, you're saying that the family is the key. I agree with you. The nucleus of the society is the family, and something is causing that to almost disappear. what are some of the reasons we should have a male and a female in a home, right? Or do you think two males would be just as well, or two females as a family? See, things are changing today, you know.
I myself, I believe that a man and woman should be a part of the household, giving that balance to that child's needs of everything that they need to accomplish, and that child should seek their parents for everything that they need, and their parents should give the guidance that child may need. But then you still have those situations where you have that one parent home, whether it's man, whether it's woman, but that child still needs that push.
Which do you think we have more women heading the homes or more men? Which you think is greater?
I want to say it's greater for more women
We have many
because
more women
we
than
have a lot of single woman homes,
Right.
especially in the African American community.
And that is another reason that it's so important that the community, in my opinion, get involved in trying to help this single mother raise the child. That's why the village is really important. Would you agree?
I agree, sir.
And I encourage our pastors to work harder each day, and everybody in the community that has concern about the betterment of the community to help the single women raise those children, especially the male children, because the male children actually still cause more problems than the females. You agree with that, don't you? We don't have as many females stealing and killing as we do males, although they are making progress in that direction, right? If you want to call it that.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Those of you who have just joined us, I'm Antonio Hobbs, host of this educational program called The School Without Walls. My guest is Miss Hillary Jones, a senior here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. She's representing the ROTC. I want to ask you a question and tell me the first thing comes in your mind. Ferguson, what comes in your mind?
Disappointment.
Disappointment, okay. Now the next one is why disappointment when you hear Ferguson?
Because I know most people have heard or is hearing about the verdict about the man walking free, and
After doing what?
after shooting,
After killing.
Mike Brown, and I'm disappointed that the verdict didn't go. He didn't get no sentencing, nothing whatsoever, just walking free like nothing ever happened.
But is that anything new? Haven't that happened throughout the history of America?
It's
When
throughout
a black man is killed by a white man, has anything been done about it? You don't have any record of that?
I don't, but
don't
I'm
really
pretty sure
know.
I haven't heard of any police law enforcement being punished at all for killing a black man who was clearly unarmed and had no way to defend himself.
Why do you think a human being would do that to another human being? You have any feelings about that?
Maybe there's fear somewhere.
Unnecessary fear, undue fear?
Undue fear.
That could be possible. Also, that could be hatred too, couldn't it?
True. Yes, sir.
I'm enjoying killing them. You know, there are people who hunt. They enjoy shooting deer. I guess
All right.
they do it. When I was a younger man, I would shoot rabbits, Randy. But I got where I didn't even want to shoot a rabbit. I realized that those things have a life. Think of them running. You out there with a big old gun trying to blow them away. And I'm saying that to move to a human being being just shot down because of fear or hatred. That is a sad state, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Anything else in your mind about Ferguson? When will there be a change?
I don't know. I see on the media and Instagram, which is I'm on often. There's several protesting going on even after the verdict, and people are angry. People are it is not just in Ferguson. You got people all over the country hosting rallies, hosting, having petitions just to change people's minds, because it's not right. It's not right that this man got shot down and there's no repercussions whatsoever.
And if you notice that all of those protesters are not black, are they, throughout the world?
I've seen actually some Arab posts.
Yeah, so it's a mixed group, isn't it? So let's hope that this will not be, that his death won't be vain. We've got to do something to make this world a better place, haven't we?
All right.
So we should have about 3 or 4 more minutes. What are some of the things that we could do, just the two of us, and any individual has an opportunity to do something to make this a better place in which to live? What can you suggest to your peers and to the world that we can do to make it a better place?
I say reach out to your community. Don't just, I feel like especially since I'm in college, I'm a graduate, most people get my position, they leave, they go far away from their hometown and never look back. We shouldn't do that. We should pull people up and bring them to our position, continue giving resources to our impoverished towns so they can grow and so they can be more knowledgeable in the city that we live in today, and so they can get out of and make something better of this community.
Try to give back to the community, right?
Yes, sir.
That's very important. Have a helping hand, and especially to the younger ones. I don't know whether you've noticed this or not, but tell me whether you've noticed this or not. You've tried to influence people your age, haven't you? You've tried to influence younger people. Which one listens more, the one your age or the one that's much younger than you?
I say the ones that's much younger than me.
Right, so we need to realize that the younger we get them, the more respect they like to have for us, because peers are competing. A lot of time a peer would know you're right, but they won't accept that because they think you're smarter than they are. However, we can have positive peer experiences, but almost any young child, if you help that young child is going to listen to you when you tell them, try to guide them. So that's what we're all about here at the School Without Walls. We're trying to get everybody in the community, everybody under the sound of my voice, to try to teach someone, okay? There are young children in every community that need a little help, and if we do that, and also respect authority and power. I was thinking about if this is true that the young man was walking down the street in the highway and the policeman asked them to go to the sidewalk. If they had gone to the sidewalk, perhaps the boy would have been living today. But they weren't trained to show respect to that officer, so some altercation took place where he was at the disadvantage. So my mother always taught me to evaluate a situation, and my principles taught us it's better to stoop to conquer than to raise up and get conquered. You see the difference? You have the last word. We should have a minute, do we, Randy? We got a minute, so go. What's on your mind? Let it go.
Well,
what do you plan to do after graduation?
Plans after graduation, definitely commission. High commission in exactly 2 weeks. That is
2 weeks?
my goal. I'm not sure where I'll be stationed yet. Sessions haven't quite came back in yet, so don't know exactly where they're gonna send me. But I also studied at Cal State Arabic, and so
Arabic?
Arabic.
That's a language?
No,
that's a place?
That's a language. The Arabic
language.
language.
You studied the Arabic language?
Yes.
Oh, good. So you might wind up in one of the Arabic countries, right?
That's my plan. I actually signed up for 3 foreign countries, and that's Qatar, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia.
Okay, now are you by any chance married? Are you married?
I'm American.
I said, are you married?
Oh, married. Oh, no. Not
so you
all.
don't have that family to deal with, right?
Not right now, I don't.
Okay, so I hope you luck. Buena suerte. Good luck. And I think we're ending out now, Randy. And go to Egypt. That's in North Africa, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And all over there, it's pretty rough over there.
I know.
You be careful, you hear?
Yes, sir.